What's going on? Shaky, shaky. Had to make my coffee. I do a lot of reading, and you're gonna have to do your own research and fact check me because I didn't do enough research to be able to say this credibly, but I did see it. Coffee was originally popularized because, similar to smoking, it blocks your chakras, blocks your energy, and like alcohol, closes you off to the more spiritual sides of this world. Coffee. Who'd have thought? Anyways, look it up yourself. I saw it in some old memoir I read a lot of stories from. A long time ago. But I got a $1.55. Oh, I just opened it. Sorry, this is not going to be an unboxing because I don't do those. I'm like literally just took it out of this box after I put sugar in my coffee and I put it into the 5th pocket. But just the standard. Genuine ebony hardwood handle. I was going to get a custom, but then I was speaking with another content creator, and on one of their videos they had got a custom 55. I believe they got it in. They got a couple of them actually. Props, dude. One in cherry wood. That might have been a Prince, Buck, the Prince model. But it was in cherry wood. Absolutely beautiful. That cherry wood really pops. Kind of made me like reconsider getting a 55, but I have to get a 55 because 110. The Buck 110. That's my knife. 10 is my lucky number. January 10th is my birthday. 110. I got that Buck on my birthday. So I got this 55 because it's half of 110. 5 is half of 10, and it's a mini. So when I don't feel like carrying my big 110, I can carry this little one. Little Buck. Big Swiss. This is how it came. It's a satin finish on the blade. These smaller blades looks a little bit more extra satin than the 110, but could just be a characteristic. Let me actually stand up to make sure this is focusing. There's nothing worse than putting so much effort into something, or lack thereof, and then having to do it all over again. It's slick, right? It's slick. I thought it was going to be in one of those styrofoam sleeves inside of here. I'm going to get back to the story about the exotic scales. I thought it was going to be in one of those styrofoam sleeves, but it wasn't. It was just floating in there. It does have the Buck warranty information. That's what it is. The Buck warranty information. So, what I was getting at, birdies. What I was getting at was I was speaking with another content creator, and they were talking about the ironwood option in the custom shop for Buck. They didn't know exactly what ironwood was because they had one knife from Boker which said that it was ironwood, and they had another knife from Buck with ironwood handles, and the contrast between the grain patterns and the tones in the wood, it was drastic. So he was like, what the fuck classifies ironwood? And I'm a sculptor, carver. I carve ebony ironwood. I have all this useless information just out of, I guess, experience. But it's almost as if, like, you can't downplay ebony. Ebony is a very precious wood. And it's almost as if, since it's Buck's stock option, and then it's almost as if since it's Buck's stock option, people kind of I guess, think less of it in a sense. Because when you go to the custom shop, you can see buffalo horn, you can see like cherry wood, ironwood, different kinds of synthetics, and the prices vary. They get pretty expensive. So and then you look at this one, which is ebony, and you're just like, well, that's just the basic generic, and it kind of like it's just marketing. It compels you to buy some more exotic stuff, some more premium materials, but as a result, it kind of just puts in the dust the preciousness of ebony and brass by itself. Like this ebony, I've said it in countless other videos, is sustainably sourced. Buck knives for a long time originally just made them out of ebony. For a while, it was hard to get ebony because, you know, people are greedy, over harvesting. So they stopped making them with ebony. I see a lot of buck knives in the 90s, and I'm still learning. You see a lot of buck knives in the 90s come with those, like, I don't know, just, it almost looks like those fucking hitter box. You know, those multicolored hitter boxes, like Dyna wood, just kind of laminate wood, which is very durable in itself. Like, if you're not going to use ebony anymore because you can't, you want something that's just as impact resistant and durable, and it's not a far cry. So they did that, but then eventually they came up with a deal with, well, what do you know? Fender guitars. I play guitar. I'm very mystically minded. It's not just about a pocket knife made out of modern materials. It's about semi-precious metals like copper, nickel, silver, brass, special combinations of steel to create a world-renowned stainless, this buck steel, and carrying it around and instilling my own energy, my own spirit into it, because it is an inanimate object for sure. And if it was made with mostly synthetic materials, it would remain an inanimate object, like a straw. But this ebony was made specifically for guitars to make music, so it resonates. It's a tone wood. So if you believe in, I don't know, essential oils and crystals, it's a stretch. It's a stretch. But I kind of play with the idea that certain woods, tone woods, are special, and they're used in instruments for worship because they have a frequency similar to those crystals everybody's so fascinated with. What else resonates? Brass. They make instruments out of that too. So this handle resonates by itself. I mean, I'm sure if I had a tuning fork of a certain frequency, it would eventually resonate. It resonates with me, my vibe, and yours too when you get one. So I got the standard ebony because it's not standard. This is a beautiful knife. This is a beautiful knife. Let me show you something. So there's this. You see that right there? Looks like they sanded it. The bolsters, this is characteristic of, this is my knife. I'm not bitching. I'm just pointing out what I noticed, because in my business, I notice everything. That's what people pay me for. But the bolsters, one was sanded just a little bit too much on one side, so it's, one is slightly ever so thicker. You need a micrometer to fucking tell, or my eyes. The centering is on point. And then this ebony scale, it was just free floating in there. I'm not sure if that's just the grain of the wood, but you see that little line right there? I like it. Kind of makes me know it's mine, but still, it would piss most people off. I notice these things. I don't bitch about these things. Anyways, this is a beautiful knife. The transitions are perfect. People complain. I don't know why. I guess you just have to know. But traditionals, I saw a few videos. They were pointing out that the silver pins right there are slightly raised up because those are stainless steel. Yeah, those are steel pins. Basically, these brass pins right there are the things that hold in the wood. So the brass pins extend from this brass plate. They're called bolsters, but it locks in. They ping it, and it locks in the ebony scales. That steel pin goes through the wood, through the brass, through this back lock, that steel strip right there, through that brass, through that wood, and it holds everything together. So it's supposed to stick out a bit. It's not defective. There's also 2 more pins, I think, on this one. Yeah, on there, that go all the way through on the bottom, and then of course the pivot one, which the blade is locked into. That one also goes all the way through. So it's not a defect just for having these a little bit raised at all. That's how it's supposed to be. I hope I was able to do this in one shot. I hope the phone didn't turn off. I hope I don't sound like an idiot. Man, why do I don't think that was good. I'm not gonna sound like an idiot. I'm just not used to talking about my passions, things I'm into, because I know it's silly to most people. So, if it's your vibe with me. Let's resonate. I'm about to do a lot more garden tips. I've learned quite a few things. Some things you probably know, it's common knowledge, but you never know. You never know until you know. Hey, first try. It's absolutely perfect. Just little subtle things like the bolster right there looking a little scuffed. Looks like they noticed that and they sanded it. And that line, no big deal. Love it.